Alright, you guys must have seen enough comparisons on the DLSS 4 versus 4.5 ray reconstruction on the internet so far. I'm not going to do that here, okay? I'm just going to test the RTX 5070 with preset F for the ray reconstruction and preset M for super resolution in this video. And this is going to be the first time I'm testing out Cyberpunk, like an in-depth review with the 5070 as well. Here, like, there are no significant performance impact by enabling 4.5 ray reconstruction compared to the 4. So let's see how it goes, man. So this is the RTX 5070 PNY version of the GPU, paired up with the 9000X 3D and 64 GB of DDR5 memory running at 6000 megahertz. And it's the 610.88 driver, the latest one, which you need in order to have the new presets. So that's it. Let's see how it's going to perform. So before I do that, let me just go ahead into the graphics settings and go to Cyberpunk. I'm going to make sure super resolution is set to preset M and ray reconstruction is set to preset F. That's the latest one that you need to enable for it to work properly. All right, we are set to go. Let's see the performance. 4K, 1440p and 1080p. All right, the first setting that I usually go for is going to be 4K maxed out. Just completely crazy. Nobody should be trying this unless you're crazy like me. So 4K, especially on a 12 GB card, is a bad idea to begin with, unless you're like playing on medium to high settings. But if you guys are new to the channel, this is how I usually run things, you know. Start off with 4K maxed out settings. Same thing here. So DLAA, preset M, which is already pretty heavy on the GPU. And now we also have the 4.5 ray reconstruction turned on. So everything is absolutely maxed out to the max. All right. So everything is like even psycho screen space reflections. So yeah, I think it's stacked up. So let's see. It's gonna be like 1 FPS. It's been a while since I've tested out the base game, so you usually just go straight to the Dogtown area and test it out over there. Yeah, let's just test it out in the base game first. And as you guys can see, it is not a good idea. I barely get 1 FPS if possible. So yeah, just don't do it. For this to be actually a little bit playable, you gotta go at least performance mode. Makes it upscale from 1080p to make it slightly more playable. So let's see. And there you have it. In performance mode, we're getting 40 FPS. Now it's like kind of playable, you know. And you can see we are utilizing about 12 GB of VRAM here. It's expected because ray tracing and especially path tracing is really intensive on the GPU. You're barely getting 37 FPS here. Nothing surprising. I expected this, to be honest. And the 4.5 path tracing, it actually looks kind of clean. I don't know. Honestly, I can't tell the difference from DLSS 4 ray reconstruction to this unless I zoom in and see stuff. But as far as the performance, it looks pretty stable so far. And again, this is what you can expect on these settings. Even the 5080 on these settings was like barely getting 50 FPS or something like that, so this is expected. And we go to ultra performance, so now it's upscaled from 720p and 4K. Now we can get 60 FPS. Okay, a much better experience right here. And it still looks really beautiful on 720p with DLSS preset M. Things looks absolutely beautiful. Still looks as sharp as it can possibly be. Again, it's not as sharp as performance mode, but if I just stop here and look at those leaves on the coconut trees over there, or pine trees, or whatever it is over there, I can see a little bit of smearing if I just look closely to it. But other than that, from this far, from where it is, it's looking pretty solid. Alright, so nothing bad. It is looking pretty solid even on ultra performance. That's a good thing. Still using 10 GB of VRAM. That's crazy. Alright, so to make it more playable, I'm gonna have to turn on some frame generation. Let's start off with 2x. Okay, I'll get you to 100 FPS experience with 47 milliseconds latency, so it's pretty good so far. I'd say I could play like this without any issues. I don't see any issues whatsoever, you know. It's a completely playable experience for me, even on keyboard and mouse. 54, so it's going up to the 50 milliseconds mark, but it is still pretty responsive. If I were to hop off the car and walk on foot, cause some chaos over here, I guess. Let me see. And that is like pretty responsive now. You try to drop kick me, okay. See that? Still holding up a really stable frame rate. I might die here. I don't even have the HUD enabled, you know, for the maximum immersion. And I might be dead here. I don't know. As you guys can see, it's solid. Can hit the shots if you want. God damn, he hit me with a 3-piece and I'm dead. I'm not even mad about it. You guys get the idea. It is running really well. Alright guys, so let me just go to Dogtown now, because Dogtown is more intensive compared to the base game area. So I'm gonna go to the Dogtown area. And 2x frame gen seems to be really stable. You don't need more than this to make it play blind. Even in Dogtown, you can see it's gonna be like 90 to 100 FPS experience right here with 15 milliseconds. This area in particular is gonna be a little more heavier. Look at that, 85. Still pretty solid. It's upscaled from 44 FPS to 86, so not bad at all, guys. And it looks really good too. If I stop here, this area has like the most amount of ghosting or noise. You look into the distance, you can still make out whatever is written on that wall on the far end. Yeah, I mean, I can actually tell the difference from DLSS 4 to this, because it's not bad at all. If I were to drop off here and take a look at over here, I was dropping into 60s. Okay, and go into these path traced areas, it just dropped into the 60s, and then I'm moving back on 80s again. Pretty much we are like bottlenecked at this point, the VRAM, but look at this. Doesn't look too bad, does it? Looks pretty good to me, man. So yeah, the performance still pretty good, man. I'm not gonna lie. We're gonna go to 4x frame gen. 4x frame gen, I think it's a little too much. But even then, it is pretty smooth. But now the latency has gone up to 55, and now we're getting 41 FPS upscale to 168. It's not bad, but I don't want this much FPS, you know. And again, I don't know how clear it is on the YouTube compression, you know. When you're looking at the screen, especially on a 4K monitor, it looks pretty solid to me. So 58 milliseconds to 60 milliseconds is actually doable, man. I'm not gonna lie. It is a little floaty when you move the mouse around, but it is still pretty doable in my opinion. 150 FPS. 4x frame gen, I don't need it. I'll settle with 2x frame gen. That's the maximum I'll go for a single player game. But if you want 4x frame gen, man, go ahead and do it. I'm gonna try 2x, stick to that. I'm gonna also try performance mode, just to see how it's gonna be. Alright. Okay. I might have to restart the game for that, so I'm just gonna do that. Alright, so after the restart, you can see we are getting 70 something FPS on the same settings. So yeah, I had to restart it to make, you know, everything refresh properly, so that we don't have the VRAM buffer issue. And you can see this area is really intensive for some reason, and it drops you to 60 FPS even with 2x frame gen. You can see we're upscaled from 30 FPS to 60 with 72 milliseconds latency, which is pretty terrible compared to what we had on ultra performance. So in conclusion, man, if you want to play this game maxed out on 4K with a 5070, you're gonna have to go all the way to ultra performance and then enable 2x frame gen. It's gonna be the sweet spot for this game. Yeah, with a 5080 you can get 100 FPS or something like that on performance mode. So our 5070 you gotta go to, you know, ultra performance, unfortunately. So it's what it is, man. And look at that, now it's going up to even 100 milliseconds. So it's not gonna be stable because performance mode is upscaled from 1080p, so requires more VRAM, and we are limited to only 12 GB, which is obviously a bottleneck, unfortunately. It definitely can push more frames. We had like at least 16 GB of VRAM, but unfortunately we don't have it. So performance mode, it's not the way to go, man. You gotta go to ultra performance to max the game out. Can turn down the settings maybe to high settings and get really good experience out of this. But you know, we're testing out rare reconstruction for that. You just gotta max out the game, you know. Otherwise I don't feel like we're doing the test to justice. So man, these guys are just going ham at it. So yeah, that's it. I think that's good enough for 4K. Now let's test out 1440p. Alright, so I'm back in the main game, not the DLC. So there it is, 1440p. I'm back on DLAA. With now frame generation. And everything maxed out. Look at that, barely getting 30 FPS. And now 1440p is what most people are going to be playing on a 5070. So I'm just going to... It's going to be the most interesting test for most people because 4K is out of reach for most people with the 5070. I'll still test it because, you know, it's fun. And 30 FPS is all you can get, guys, on native DLAA with the latest preset and DLSS 4.5. God, my bad. I didn't mean to do that. Let me just get up off here and go on for a walk. And this game just looks so beautiful. 33 FPS over here, so it's gonna differ where you are in the game. 31, looking pretty solid. This is native settings by far. And yeah, not playable, you know, 60 FPS is ideal for any first-person shooting game, is even a single-player game. So this is not the best way to do it. But again, 27 FPS is all you can do in here. So with a little bit of upscaling, you should be able to make it playable, I guess. So quality mode gets you to 55 FPS, still not enough for 60, unfortunately. Am I gonna get hit by these cars? I don't know. But yeah, that's all you can get, man. Like 50 FPS, 10 GB utilized here, 270 watts of power used. They're not bad. If it was a 5080, it's gonna use at least 300 watts here, I'm pretty sure. So it's a power efficient card for its performance, especially with path tracing and everything enabled, so not too mad about it, you know what I mean? And everything looks pretty sharp too. Yeah. 4.5 preset F, pretty good. So let me go to balance mode. Because upscaling was the biggest issue, was introducing a lot of noise and ghosting and stuff with preset model 4. But now with F, it's gonna look much more sharper. It does have a little bit of aliasing issue on the edges, but I think that's the design. I think it's a texture issue more than the denoiser or upscaling issue. I don't know. But yeah, man, it looks pretty solid from what I can see. 58 FPS. Still not ideal. You need at least 60 FPS for this, but it's looking pretty good, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to performance mode. I don't know what this is upscaled from right now, but performance mode, you are getting 70 FPS. Or any frame gen. So if you hate frame gen, you might have to go to 70. I mean, performance mode at 1440p. You get a solid gameplay. 66. And now look at the 9000 XPD. It's at almost 50% used. And we're not even maxing out the GPU anymore. But still, it's at 97, 98%. So not bad. But yeah, it is looking all right. 75 FPS. All right. Let me go ahead and see how it's gonna be in Dogtown. Alright, in Dogtown you can get pretty much 70 something FPS unless you go to this area over here, which is gonna drop it down to 50. Yeah, you lose about 10 to 15 FPS just to go to that area. I don't know why. But yeah, Dogtown in general is way more intensive. You can see we're getting average of 62 instead of 70 from the base game, so yeah. Again, a lot of people won't be playing this in Dogtown. You know, most people will be still playing the base game. But if you are in Dogtown, this is what you can expect from the latest preset M model and the 5070. Okay, so that is pretty much it. I wouldn't play it like this. I would just maximum go to balance mode, have 2x frame gen to get to a stable performance, 97 100 FPS with 68 milliseconds. Actually no, it's 48 to 50 milliseconds, which is way better. So it gets you to 89 to 90 FPS upscale from 40 base frames. Anything above 40 FPS base frames, it's actually quite playable for a single player game. Alright, for a multiplayer game, I don't even recommend you enabling frames in the first place, but for single player games, it's actually pretty alright. You know, 100 FPS here, upscale from 50. I don't see any ghosting or any of that stuff, so pretty solid, man, pretty solid. Still using 10 GB of VRAM, so on 8 GB cards is gonna be really bad. So since we have 12 GB, we are managing a pretty stable frame rate, fortunately. But yeah, this is what you can expect from balanced and 2x frame gen. And just for the sake of it, let's try 4x frame gen. Gonna get you to 175 FPS with 54 milliseconds latency. So if I stop right here and look at those leaves, yeah, they're not that sharp, but you know, they're leaves, like really small little dots on the screen. So you cannot expect it to be perfect. But again, it's performance, like balance mode. Quality mode is gonna look way better. But you know, those are like really small details. You won't notice it if you're just driving the car. Well, hey, don't look at me, bro. I was just explaining things to my audience. Yeah, I'm just enjoying the benchmark. All right, so if you look at the building at the very far, even if you look at top of those things, the crane extensions or whatever that is at the top, they don't look that bad. Like usually if I look at those things, like very far objects, they usually like have the smearing or the edge sharpening issue, you know, the raggedy edges. But with 4.5 preset F, doesn't look that bad. It's just staying there constantly without any movement. It's a pretty good sign, man. So that, like I said, it's doing a lot of things that you don't even notice that much. You gotta pay attention, you know, stop, slow down and take a look around it to actually see a difference. Other than that, it's not gonna be a big difference from 4 to 4.5 ray reconstruction. But yeah, man, improvement is definitely there. I can tell you that for sure. And there they go again. All right. So 4x frame gen, I'm not gonna recommend it, but if you want to play it like this, go ahead and do it. But 1440p, you gotta be on balanced upscaling to get the most out of it. Otherwise, it's not gonna be that great. All right. Still prefer going to 2x frame gen and balance mode for the best experience. Quality will work too, but it's not gonna be great. Alright, so just keep it to balance mode 2x frame gen. It's going to be my recommendation on 1440p if you want to use the latest model and have a solid gameplay. So yeah, I think that's good enough for 1440p. Now let's just check out 1080p and see if we can actually do it on native settings. I don't think it can, but let's see. Now finally we're on 1080p and still the same settings. I just turned off frame gen. I'm going DLAA. And still everything maxed out with path tracing. Is it playable without any upscaling or frame gen? 47 FPS. I'm an old school gamer. For me, this is actually playable. But for the new gen lads out there, you might not find this enjoyable. You might need at least 60 FPS to consider anything playable these days. So I'm gonna go with the standard. This is playable for me and maybe a lot of old heads, you know, who grew up in the 90s and stuff. Yeah, 40 FPS. So it's playable for me. I would be totally fine with it, but you know, to make it playable these days, you gotta have 60 FPS. So we're gonna go quality mode instead. Subscale from 720p, which takes you to 73 FPS. And now this is way more playable in today's standards. And now you're using only 9 GB of VRAM. I mean, actually 9.6. 10 GB of VRAM pretty much. It's not like it's not intensive, even with upscaling. Even at 720p, you need 10 GB of VRAM to actually pull this off without any lags and stuff. So it tells you how intensive path tracing actually is, man. 720p requiring 10 GB of VRAM. Crazy. Alright. Now there's a spot right here where there's a lot of people roaming around and stuff. I need to go there and see how it's gonna be over there. 78. So if you're on 1080p monitor with this GPU, it's gonna be It's gonna be the best option, man. Quality mode. You wanna max the game out, that is. If you don't care about no ray reconstruction or any of that stuff, you wouldn't be clicking on this video in the first place, but yeah, you can actually play the game without ray tracing at ultra settings easily on DLAA. Even at 1440p that's going to be possible, but care about all the ray reconstruction and path tracing and all of that stuff, you got to be on these settings, you know, without frame gen to make it playable. So sit over here, and I'm looking for that alley where there's a lot of people gathered around. I'm missing it. I swear to God, I'm running around in circles. See here? Thing is here. Not tripping. I don't know. Let me go and find that place, man. This is actually tripping me over. It's been a while since I played this game, so I'm trying to find that area. But yeah, you guys get the idea, man. It's gonna be like 70 something FPS on this setting. I think it's somewhere here. You know, with the shooting going on. But yeah, right there. Found it. There it is. This is what I was talking about. This is like one of the most intensive areas and best places to test out path tracing and all that stuff, because there's a lot of lights and these in this area with a lot of NPCs. Really nice place to stress test your CPU and your GPU. You can see it's 53% on the 9000X3D, and now it's going up to 10 GB on the VRAM. Look at that. Still looks pretty solid at 1080p quality mode. Of course, it's quality mode. So just for the sake of it, let me just go ahead and play ultra performance. And just to see, man, so this is upscaled from 240p. Yeah, it's not perfect, but it's alright, you know. And if you look at it, for 240p picture quality, this looks alright to me, you know. It's not great, but it's serviceable. Look at this. So look that bad to you guys? I don't know, man. And if you look at that distance over there, tiger claws, yeah, it's a little blurry, but you can't expect a lot from it, man. This is 240p you're talking about, so not mad at it. 84 FPS though, so that's pretty good. All right, but now we are like significantly CPU bottlenecked. You can see the 5070 is at 70% used, while the 9000X3D is at 75 used. So yeah, that's not a good thing. There's no reason for you to go this down. It's better just keep it balanced. Actually on quality mode on 1080p to have the best experience, you know. So if you're not on a X3D chip, you can still get a really good experience out of it. So that's it without any frame gen. So if I'm gonna pop a little bit of frame gen on it, 2x frame gen with quality mode, gonna push you all the way to 121. Okay, and now it looks much more sharper. Yeah, this is great. Now all the blurriness on those tiger claws signboard over there, it's gone now. Yeah, and now it's looking pretty solid at 720p upscale to 1080p. Upscale from 56 to 110 FPS. Pretty solid. 47 milliseconds is really responsive. Not a big issue whatsoever. Look at this, man. It looks so beautiful. Wow. Yeah, this is really solid, guys. Look at the tiles and everything. Yeah. Really good, man. Really good. I cannot be mad about it. It just sucks that the price of this thing is going way above. Like it's like almost the price of a 5080 at this point. It's crazy. All of those guys who got this when it released, you guys did a solid job. It's a pretty solid card for what you can offer. Especially with this new technology now, with the 4.5 ray reconstruction. Every game is gonna look really solid. So that's the settings over here. I'm just turn it off and then go to Dogtown. All right, Dogtown here, 76 FPS. Really not bad, and yeah, here obviously it's gonna drop into the 60s, which is what it is always. And here the trees, the leaves are the biggest factors when it comes to these small details, and I gotta be honest here, man, it doesn't look that great. When you look at it, it's a little smudgy and blurry, unfortunately. But again, you're not gonna pay a lot of attention to it. You're just driving around, but for some reason it doesn't look that sharp. even at quality mode compared to the base game. The base game was much more sharper. Yeah, here doesn't look that sharp at 1080p. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm tripping. It doesn't look that great to me right now. So, I don't know. But yeah, it's gonna be 70 something FPS most of the time, so not bad, man. You can just get away with this if you want, but if you want frame gen, suggest going to 2x. That's the max. Anything beyond 2x frame gen is up to you. I don't personally like it. And this is giving you a 40 something milliseconds latency, which is totally playable for a single player game. And I'm cool with it. You know? So yeah, this is the 5070 looking pretty solid in 1080p. Gonna go to 1080p quality mode with 2x frame gen for the best experience with maxed out settings with the latest preset F and preset M DLSS models. And I guess that's it. I don't know, just for the sake of it, let me just go absolutely crazy with ultra performance and 4x frame gen. I get you to 344 FPS. Man, get out! What are you guys doing? Yeah. Rest in peace. 350 FPS, man. But now it looks absolutely shitty. Dude. Are you shitting me right now? Breaking the rules. There's people getting killed right behind my car, and now I ran over somebody. I'm breaking rules. Hi, bro. 330, 340 FPS. That's actually wild with maxed out settings. But again, this is 240p upscaled to 1080p, so look at the latency. The latency is 35, which is even better than what we got on quality mode, so not mad about it. But since we have 4x frame gen, we are utilizing a lot more GPU power as well. As you can see, we're 94% compared to 70 or something without frame gen. So yeah, if you guys want 300 something FPS in Cyberpunk, you can do it with everything maxed out in these settings. So there it is. I think that sums up the whole video. You guys get the idea how it's going to run with the latest models and all of that. And if you guys want more benchmarks on the 5070 on different games with the latest preset F, you know, in the comments. Okay. Hope you guys find this video helpful. If you did, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more benchmarks. And I hope you guys are having a great time wherever you are. I'll catch you guys in the next one. So take it easy and peace out.